What's up, everybody? I'm Flash. This is One Man's Opinion, the show where we cover just about everything, and today we're back at Epic Rap Battles of History, looking at Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. I did have it requested to me that I go back and do the presidential debate ones. I've shied away from these, I'm not going to lie to you. I try to call it very fair down the middle, and I feel like sometimes my bias shows through. I guess maybe it does. I don't really know. But in the name of fairness, I do want to, call out inaccuracies, as I do with all the epic rap battles. If this was, Spider-Man versus Superman, I would call out inaccuracies or bad digs if I saw them. But when you do it in a political environment, it seems like you're choosing sides, and I'm really not trying to do that. Truth be told, I already started to record this once and got halfway through the first verse, and I was like, am I picking sides? Do I sound like I'm picking sides? Because I don't want to do that. I just want to enjoy it and have a good time. But I am going to call out inaccuracies when I see them. So if you feel like going through this, that it's bothering you, or you feel like I've been one-sided, we'll say it like this. Hillary goes first. If you feel like I'm being biased one way or the other while Hillary's up, give it a chance for Trump to come around. I'll try to do the same for him, okay? And so hopefully we can I just want to enjoy this. I just want to have a good time with it, but I want to call it like I always do and be honest and call out the inaccuracies and the hypocrisies when I see it. So that's what I'm going to do. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it. I hope that intro wasn't too long. Let's go.
Battles of History. Donald!
I like the beat on this one quite a bit. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I've been in this game too long. I'm a public servant. Have been since I met MLK in person. I'm a woman of the people. That's for certain. You're a man of the people who don't like turbans.
Okay, alright. So she says, I've been in this game too long. I'm a public servant. I met MLK. You're a man of the people that don't like turbans. So there's a lot to pull apart right there. Personally, I like that they set this up. I don't remember which debate this was, if it was the first. I think it was like the second debate that they had. But I like how they set it up that way, where they were taking questions from like the audience. It was a pretty famous debate. It got pretty heated. There were a lot of one-liners, a lot of zingers that made Trump's run pretty famous. It was already, let's be honest. This particular presidential run had a lot of intrigue, had a lot of eyeballs. It was really great television. From a general audience standpoint, man, we had never seen anything like this. We had Hillary trying to be the first female president ever. We had Donald Trump, who was a TV personality, self-made billionaire. Some people will get at me for saying self-made. I know that he got a check, whatever. The man has maintained a lot of money through his entire life. He was a TV personality, and now he's running for president. So there was like a lot of intrigue. Both of them had kind of a new claim to the desk that we hadn't seen in recent history anyway. So that's very interesting. As for what she's saying, let's go back and listen to that one more time.
I've been in this game too long. I'm a public servant. Have been since I met MLK in person. I'm a woman of the people.
Okay, I'm a public servant, have been since I met MLK in person. I think she did that when she was really young. If memory serves, she was very, very young when that happened, maybe 12 or so. But still a pretty cool thing to say. Not many people can say that they met MLK in person, so that's pretty cool. And then she said, I've been in this game a long time. Basically, and it's something that she's going to be able to use to her advantage, but also leaves her open to a lot of counterattacks. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for her, but basically she's going to be saying, look, I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm doing. That's why I'm right for the job. I have the experience. You don't have that experience. I'm a public servant. Have been since I met MLK in person.
Public servant. Have been since I met MLK in person. I'm a woman of the people. That's for certain. You're a man of the people who don't like turbans.
That time in office she can use to say, I'm a woman of the people, that's for certain. You're a man of the people who don't like turbans, okay? Racism going to be a common theme for digs at Donald Trump. It's something we still see to this day. People try to use that against him. So it's very smart coming out here. And the way it mirrors the actual debates between these two is very, very interesting, very, very funny. So there you go.
Don't like turbans. I was living in the West Wing while you were professional wrestling. Got skin like Russian dressing from too much Russian investing.
Okay, all right, so a lot of smart, I think it's a really smart direction for Hillary to take this. Number one, she's really digging in on that. Listen, I I did this, like I've been doing this for a long time, and I was living in the West Wing while you were professional wrestling. So like while you were in Mr. McMahon, we're having the hair versus hair match. I remember that well. I've been a WWE fan for a long time. That's a smart way to go about it. You and Mr. McMahon were having your hair versus hair match, and I was actually serving the people. That's the point that she's making here. So really good.
Wrestling got skin like Russian dressing from too much Russian investing.
Donald Trump famously had that kind of orange-colored skin, and kind of got that nickname, the Orange Man, a little bit. So kind of a tan gone wrong, maybe a spray tan there. And then comparing that to Russian dressing, which has the orange color, and then from too much Russian investing, something that he's been commonly, something he's been commonly accused of, right? From Russian investing. Though, a lot of that they, in hindsight, a lot of that hasn't stuck. Anything that they've tried to stick him with as far as Russian investments or something illegal anyway, none of that's really taken. None of that's been able to stick, which I find very, very interesting. So in hindsight, maybe not as big of a score as it would have been at the time that this came out, but otherwise still a very smart direction for her to take.
From too much Russian investing. You've been going bankrupt since the 90s. If it was any.
I got to point out, too, I do quite like that she's got this little Russian dance going on. I don't know what that dance is called, but you see it a lot. What's that, in Russia long ago? This song. I don't know exactly how it goes. I don't know the lyrics exactly. But I think you guys maybe know the one I'm talking about where people do that little dance.
Much Russian investing. You've been going bankrupt since the 90s. If it was any wrong, you couldn't find me. You don't care about the job, Trump. You just think that desk is shiny.
Okay. All right, so you've been going bankrupt since the 90s. That's a good dig at him. He has had to have a few companies go into bankruptcy, things that didn't work out for him, so it's smart to take something that the man is known for, which is, having a lot of money, and say, hey, man, you've been going bankrupt since the 90s. You can't even do what you're good at. Good. So, that's a really smart direction that I wish she dug into a little bit more, because she kind of just hits on it a little bit right there. And maybe she'll get into it more later. I don't really remember. It's, like I said, it's been a long time. But something I wish you would dig in to a little bit more.
Since the 90s, if it was any wrong, you couldn't find me. You don't care.
If I was in Iran, you couldn't find me. Okay, I think this is just
about the job, Trump. You just think that desk is shiny.
You don't care about the job, Trump. You just think the desk is shiny. That in combination with the if I was in Iran, you couldn't find me. I think she's just basically calling him dumb here. You just think the desk is shiny. She could be saying that in general he doesn't care about the job. Maybe she's saying that only the power of the desk allures him. Maybe you just think the desk is shiny. Maybe it's the personal advantages it gives a person to be president. I don't really know specific. I wish she was more specific with that dig, because on the outset it looks like she's saying you don't care about the job. You just think the desk is shiny, which is a weird way to attack Trump, in my opinion. This is not my favorite dig at her. Let's be honest. Trump was a millionaire. He was on talk shows. He was in the WWE. The press loved him. People in Hollywood loved him. Everyone loved Trump before he ran for political office. And now everyone can't stand him. So, he really didn't have that much to gain by becoming president. So, he had to have cared about the job. In my opinion, that's the one thing I don't understand why you would take that angle with him, because he must have cared about the job, because he had everything. The man had nothing he had nothing to gain from becoming president, really, if you think about it, and he lost a lot because of it. Everyone can't stand him now. Beyond that, he didn't even take the check for being president, so you can't even say the money was an allure for him, because he didn't even get paid to do the job. So I think he made his motivations clear. Whether you agree with his policy or not, I think he does at least care about, and in his mind, he's doing the right thing. So in all fairness, I think that one misses the mark a little bit, but the rest of hers have been very good so far.
Respect your children, but that wasn't quite right, yo. Looking like some extras from American Psycho.
That's a good one. They're legitimately, you can look up pictures of their family, and it's all suits, it's all business attire, hair slicked back. It does look like extras from American Psycho. That's a good dig. It's funny. I like it.
First thing is Hillary, middle and Rado. Last name is Clinton, the lyrics I got it. Celebrities on The Apprentice. Motherfucker, I fired it like crack.
Okay, Hillary getting in her bag a little bit. I like it. I like that switch up right there on the flow. We like that a lot. One more time, run it back for us, Hillary. Okay, she didn't really say much right there. She just, give her name. She got it in the flow a little bit. Lyrics, I got them. I don't know about lyrics so far. I haven't seen great penmanship, I wouldn't say. But I would say that maybe flow, I got it. Maybe you should have said, I got the flow or something right there. I don't know, but... Okay, Bin Laden died under her watch. Yeah, SEAL Team 6, I believe, was responsible for that. Under her, I think she was actually Secretary of Defense at the time. So that's a really good flex. Strong flex for Hillary there. And comparing that to what he's been doing, again, this is her pocket. This is where she wants to live. I've been doing this while you've been playing celebrity on The Apprentice. You fire people on The Apprentice. I fired Bin Laden. So, taking credit for that, very smart play by Hillary right there. That's a great shot. Probably her best punch so far. Not because she hasn't already kind of alluded to it, but because this is the first time she was really specific about it. So I like that a lot from Hillary.
I say this. You're racist. Ooh, you must get so pissed that your hands are too small to stop and frisk.
One complaint, I'll coming right back off of a compliment, I'll give a complaint here. There's a lot of racism lobbed at Trump. I just wish you were more specific. If a person is so racist, for example, this video is going to get dinged for me using that word so much. But if a person is so racist, why not be specific about it? Why not give specific instances about his racism? But instead, now we've had twice, you don't like turbans, and now just outright calling him that. Wouldn't it be a much better use of your time to lay out specific instances of his wrongdoings? That's my complaint. There's a lot of generalities with Hillary's verse so far, and she's not been specific enough. The one time she was specific, she landed a solid hit with the Apprentice bar.
You're racist. Ooh, you must get so pissed that your hands are too small to stop and frisk.
We all remember the small hands thing, and then I've got to tell you, I have really big hands, really actually huge hands. We that back and forth. I think that was with the other Bush, with Jeb Bush. I think that back and forth was. So that's pretty funny. A good pull there from Hillary.
Your hands
I like
are
that.
too small to stop and frisk. You use your fingers to touch chicks.
She's only 12 years old.
That's enough. Shit.
But she's married, sir.
Just gotta get pushy.
That's your daughter.
Well, grab
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Right there. Yeah. All right. So obviously, very famous quote by Trump, using that to set up. We'll say immorality. We'll say some sexual immorality there, and we'll leave it at that. Very smart to go that direction for Hillary here. Something that was brought up a lot during that first campaign run. And then using that in conjunction with stop and frisk, I think that's good writing. Smart there from Hillary. A good pull there. I like that. Good point for her there.
That's assault, brother. Don't tell me the victim's at fault, sucker. Don't know shit about snakes. You could have won to the eighth all great. I'm gonna save the day. I'm gonna...
I think she got hung up on that a little too much. She doesn't really say much here. I mean, she's kind of doubling down on what she said earlier.
Sucker, don't know shit about snakes.
You don't know anything about steaks? I think Trump actually had a line of steaks at one point that didn't do well for him. Trump steaks. I think he actually sold literal steaks at one point and it didn't do really well. So this is a double entendre. You don't know anything about steaks. Yucca. The ones on the 8th are great, and I believe she's referring to November 8th here, which is the voting day, but the ones on the 8th are great. Or that may be the day the votes are counted. I could be wrong there, but definitely has something to do with the voting process. But the ones on the 8th are great. You don't know anything about steaks. It's a double entendre. It's not the strongest punch. It's a kind of an obscure reference. I don't think most people even know that Trump had steaks that he sold at one point. So it's kind of obscure. Again, I think she could use her time more wisely. And then flips that for the 8th are great. The ones on the 8th are great. The stakes for the presidency, these are big stakes. So that's kind of what we get there. Okay, there's a pretty solid diss right there to end with. She didn't really say much through here. She kind of got back into her flow a little bit.
So go ahead, Donna, let me see it.
But there's a Murder, She Wrote reference there. This right here is the best of it.
Bro, Michelle's speech. Some quote.
That's a reference to his wife gave a speech that sounded very similar to Michelle's speech that Obama's wife gave at one time. So that is the reference there. It's a pretty good dig. All in all, I don't think it was a bad verse. It was kind of a long one, and I know we've talked quite a bit, but there's a lot to cover. It is a presidential debate, a lot of history there. But I don't think it was a bad verse. I just wish she was more specific at times. And that she didn't kind of get hung up on some things from time to time. I think she had some wasted time, but there were a few good punches there. So let's see how Trump does.
Say I respect all females, but your rhymes are trash. Put them next to your emails. Our country's in...
Okay, obvious reference there to Hillary's deleted email scandal, something that Trump dinged her on in the debates quite a few times. So again, mirroring that... this rap battle mirroring the actual debates that they had is pretty great. And he starts off by saying, I respect all females. So, you know, he's trying to push that under the... I do appreciate, though, that Trump doesn't spend a lot of time defending himself, though. That would be wasted time, in my opinion. Instead, he turns it to attack Hillary immediately. So that's very, very good, I think.
All females, but your rhymes are trash. Put them next to your emails. Our country's in crisis. Who wants to vote for the mother of ISIS? That might not be exactly true, but I don't do. I like that. Believe it.
I love the Trump impersonation that we get here from Epic Lloyd. It's pretty good. Also, have you noticed there's a difference in Trump? This is aside and maybe not a big deal, but there's a difference. Like, this is how Trump impersonations used to be. It was really nasally. It was coming through. But now it's the back of the throat. He's back here. You know, it's like more scratchy. I don't know if that's an age thing or he's just been doing so much yelling for the last 12 years. I don't know. But it's funny to see how that has kind of evolved over time.
Who wants to vote for the mother of ISIS?
Okay, our country's in crisis. Who wants to vote for the mother of ISIS? He's referring to the Benghazi issue, you know, pulling out and causing a vacuum, and he blames Hillary and the way that they executed that for the birth of ISIS and how it came to be. And then he kind of catches himself. He says that may not be exactly true. So, like, specifically, did Hillary Clinton start ISIS? No. But in his view, the way that they executed that in Benghazi caused ISIS, the vacuum effect. Somebody had to take power there, and so that's what he's referring to.
Might not be exactly true, but I don't do. I like that. Believe it. Talk about misogyny. Your bill's worse than Cosby. He left a mess on that dress like you left in Benghazi.
I'm not gonna lie. Your bill's worse than Cosby is tough. It's funny. It hits hard. Referring to Bill Clinton, obviously, what he had going on with Monica Lewinsky, and then you get mess on that dress like you left in Benghazi, so he's doubling down on what he just said. This is the kind of specifics I'm talking about. The mother of ISIS thing was kind of broad, kind of a general thing that I had to explain. He's going to double down on that and get specific, and I think that hits harder than generalities, personally.
About misogyny, your bill's worse than Cosby. He left a mess on that dress like you left in
That's
Benghazi.
tough. That's tough.
You wanna break the glass ceiling, Hillary, I sense it. The only crack you'll find is my ass pressed against it.
You know, it's not a great punch or anything, but it is funny at the very least, and it's so... Trump is such a troll. Like, in real life, he's such a troll. So this is very Trump to me. So I do appreciate that. Is it a strong punch? No, not necessarily. But it is funny.
My ass pressed against it. Numbers are in it, I'm riding your tail. You don't have the stamina, baby, you're frail. This'll be just like a way when you fail. Trump will appoint you to jail.
Also, in the name of fairness, that didn't happen either. Right? Trump didn't actually put her in jail. And he suffers from something that Hillary suffers from also here, which is he gets in his flow, but he doesn't really use it to say anything. So him and Hillary both have this issue right here. They get in a good flow. It sounds nice, but they're not really saying much, right? I will say, to Trump's credit, though, with that revisionist history, he was right. He was right. He was right on her tail. and he eventually caught and eclipsed her numbers and won the presidency. So, you know, at least he has that in retrospect.
You don't have the stamina, baby, you're frail. This'll be just like a way when you fail. Trouble to point you to jail.
Just like '08 when you fail is kind of actually that, you know, for me, looking at that on a second time, just like '08 when you fail that actually hurts. That's got to sting just a little bit.
Just like a way when you fail. Trouble to point you to jail. How do I say this? Year 2, and you almost lost the primary to a socialist Jew.
Okay, all right, right there we get a reference to Bernie Sanders. Okay, all right, so that's pretty good. You almost lost the primary to a socialist Jew, so now he's taking digs. He's like, you know, you were even close for your own party, you know, so that's good. And he calls her a 2, a very Trump thing to do, only with Rosie O'Donnell, in his words.
2, and you almost lost the primary to a socialist Jew. What are the American people got a Yankee Doodle do? They're gonna throw your fat face that they're just not into you.
That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good dig. He says you almost lost the. Let me just start from the beginning right here.
Primary to a socialist Jew.
He says you're a 2. You almost lost the primary to a socialist Jew.
What are the American people got a Yankee Doodle do? They're gonna throw your fat face that they're just not into you.
It has there's a physical insult there. You got a fat face, but he's also, you know, just like '08 when you failed and Trump will appoint you to jail. He's building on that same idea here. You're a 2. I'm going to insult you, but then I'm going to go back to what's really the issue here. Just like '08 when you fail, you almost lost the primary. What have the American people got to do to say they're not that into you, okay? You've not been successful here in the past, and you're not going to be successful. So even without revisionist history, that's a very strong punch there for Donald Trump.
Male leader who could stand up to China. Not a creative little wishy-washy bleeding heart vagina.
Okay, all right. Okay, so this is, again, there's not too much here. We want a strong male leader that can stand up for China. China's something that he really dug in on a whole lot. By the way, look at this face that Hillary is making as Trump is getting in his bag here.
Not a creative little wishy-washy bleeding heart vagina.
He's just saying you're too soft. You're not going to be able to stand up to these other foreign powers, these other foreign leaders. Very Trump thing to say, but not necessarily any great punches there.
Run these
Kind of
streets
general.
like I run my casinos. More police and less Latino.
Okay, and hang on. Let me just let this run.
Areas in debt by poor people sucks. I'll create jobs, tearing down mines. I'll use all the best rocks from the site to build a wall. Dip it in gold and make Mexico pay for it.
There's so much good writing here, just from ERB's standpoint, not necessarily just from Trump's standpoint.
I'm gonna run these streets like I run my casinos. More police and less Latino.
Deporting illegal immigrants, another thing he's very strong on.
I'll use areas in debt by poor people sucks. I'll create jobs, tearing down mines.
I don't know any point where he said anything like that. And this is the only gripe I have. There's obviously an attempt to make there be some racial undertones here. He's saying, you know, less Latinos. I'm going to get Latinos out of the country. I'm going to tear down mosques. There's obviously an undertone here to make him sound like he's targeting races of people, which in my opinion is not what Trump has ever done. He's targeted bad people. You know, if they're here illegally, that would be against the law. So yes, they need to be deported, in my opinion. So there is an undertone here that I think the guys at ERB intentionally put in there that doesn't give Donald Trump a fair shake, in my opinion.
The best rocks from the site to build a wall. Dip it in gold and make Mexico pay for it.
That's just funny because he did say he was going to make Mexico pay for it, and they certainly did not. So that's they didn't pay for the whole thing. Something that he didn't come through on.
To build a wall. Dip it in gold and make
It is funny.
Mexico pay for it. I'll make this country great again. We'll all be living long. I'll tell Congress you're fired. And put Charles in charge.
Charles in Charge, a reference to an old TV show, but also a reference to Charles Cooperman, maybe? I don't know. There were a few Charleses, I think, that he appointed. So I couldn't tell you exactly what the reference there was.
And put Charles in charge, 'cause his whole system's rigged. And we all know the rigor. For the last 8 years, this country's been run by...
Again, there's an obvious racial, not even an undertone there, blatantly racist tone that they're trying to give Trump here. There's no, I've never seen a video of him saying anything that racist. If you have it, send it to me. I would love to see it. But that's the only gripe I have. They obviously have a little bit of a lean. You're going to see it more with Abraham Lincoln. And then I'll talk about who I think won.
Are you fucking kidding me with this blah, blah, blah? I have a mind to feature both to my overtime. Have a discussion up in TMC. You got brother black and brother on the Facebook feed. I'm so sick.
Civil War reference there. Brother versus brother was a big thing with the Civil War, so now he's comparing that to, how angry people get on Facebook, Twitter, that sort of thing.
Brother on the Facebook feed. I'm so sick and tired of this ridiculous shit. If this is the best my party gets, then my party should quit.
It's awfully, you know what, I'll let it finish.
Sorry, did I say something that you found funny? Wipe that creepy ass smile off your face and beat this dummy!
Having Abraham Lincoln openly root for Hillary Clinton to win this race is super presumptuous on ERB's part. And something else that bothers me, this should be the moderator, right? He should come in and it should be even. He should make fun of both of them. He should be angry with both of them. They both have flaws. Neither one of these two individuals is perfect. And there are things about both of them and their policies that I think Abe Lincoln might disagree with. Have him come in and be impartial here. Instead, ERB openly shows their hand here, and that's one of the things that bothers me about these, but I digress.
In the White House, be a man and hold the door. Don't get your fans stirred up in some sort of Twitter civil war. There's an equal opportunity smackdown in a sequel. Let's have the people, by the people, for the people.
Okay, all right, so that was Donald Trump versus Hillary. I got to be honest, they both, it's really tough. I think I have the same complaints for both of them as far as their punches go. They both had moments where they hit pretty hard. They both had moments where they were decently funny, and they both had moments where I wish that they had dug in a little bit more. I'm going to give it to Trump because I think Trump was a little more specific. I think he dug in just a little bit deeper where Hillary was very general and only had really one moment that she was more specific and really dug in on a specific issue. But it's very close. They both had moments where they wasted time, I felt like. I think Hillary just wasted a little bit more time. They were both funny. I got chuckles out of me from both their verses. If I had to put my foot down, I would say that Trump might have been a little more funny. But I also think his personality lends himself to be a little bit more funny. It's easier to be comical when you're doing a Trump impersonation with some of the things that he says and some of the ways that he acts. So, if you want it, you take that with a grain of salt. But either way, I thought it was actually a very close battle. I am always going to be a little upset to how Abe Lincoln was treated at the end. But that's my take on it. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be doing Trump versus Biden. So we'll look at that one very soon, okay? So hopefully I don't lose you all between now and then. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a longer reaction, but I think I get into that a lot with ERB because I like to talk about the meaning behind the verses and stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I hope you did. I had a good time. I'll see you guys on the next one, and leave in the comments what other ones that I haven't got to yet, if there are any, that you would still like to see me do. Also, they're all in a playlist, so if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen my Epic Rap Battle reactions, I promise a lot of them are probably more fun than the political ones, so you can go check those out if you want to. I've wasted enough of your time. Thank you guys so much. This has been One Man's Opinion. Thanks.